Every morning when I wake in this ancient land, a foreboding sense of doom creeps into my soul. This is the Olympic Dam uranium mine in South Australia. Beneath that red desert soil below lies the largest known deposit of uranium in the world. A bonanza worth billions of dollars for the mining company BHP Billiton, and a looming health and environmental disaster for the rest of us forever. We're about to open Pandora's box to let the radiation genie out of the bottle at radiation levels which will ruin this comparatively pristine land. 350 metres below the surface, a solid granite core keeps the radioactive ore from getting to us. It's safely cocooned there in nature with millions of tonnes of soil, rock and vegetation above the granite cone. But BHP Billiton wants the go-ahead from government to dig up the red topsoil, to dig it up night and day for 4 years, and then break the granite cone of protection so they can get at the valuable minerals that lie below. Once that protective granite seal is broken, the company plans to bring 40 million tonnes of radioactive ore to the surface of Australia every year for the next 50 to 100 years. That volume of radioactive tailings is the equivalent to filling the Melbourne cricket ground twice a week to the height of the goalpost, every week for the next 100 years. What the company is not telling us is that when they mine uranium to extract the yellow cake, more than 80% of the radiation stays behind in the dumped tailings, leftover waste that has no commercial value. Radioactive uranium, radioactive thorium, radioactive polonium, radium, bismuth and radioactive lead just dumped there at the surface of the mine. Whereas before the radioactive minerals were inert, buried in rock deep below the earth, they're now being crushed into fine dust particles, just dumped on the surface of the earth at Olympic Dam, covering thousands of square hectares, mountains of radioactive waste. Radioactive tailings dust, ready to blow in the wind and weep into our water and travel far beyond the mine site. Radioactive for millions of years, a pox on our children forever. The red dust of Central Australia regularly turns up on the snowy mountain slopes of faraway New Zealand. As the crow flies, it's a mere skip and a jump of 500 kilometres to downtown Adelaide. As the wind blows from Olympic Dam, it's only 1,300 kilometres to Sydney, 1,000 kilometres to Melbourne. And then there's the radon gas. Olympic Dam will be a massive open-cut mine, the biggest hole ever sunk into the heart of Australia. A hole 3 kilometres wide and 1.5 kilometres deep. When they mine uranium, it releases radon gas. Radon gas is very deadly and carcinogenic. It's 7 times heavier than air, so the radon doesn't just evaporate into outer space. It's a very mobile gas, so radon can easily travel 1,000 kilometres or more in its radioactive half-life of 3.8 days. Radon is odourless, so you don't know you're even breathing it in. And radon gas causes birth defects to babies in the womb. Long after the company executives have made their big profits and gone, long after the politicians have collected their superannuation and moved on, that radioactivity will be leaking into our environment. Scientists in Europe and North America are now discovering it doesn't take much internal radiation exposure to break the double strand of the DNA, which leads to cancer and birth defects. Cancers that can be triggered at far lower levels of radiation exposure than what our health authorities have believed till now is a safe level of radiation. Both the radioactive tailings dust and radon gas contain alpha radiation. It's the alpha radiation which plays havoc with the DNA once it's breathed into the body or ingested through our food or our water. But the cancers won't show their face for another 5 to 20, maybe even as long as 50 years. Sleeper cells, lying there doing their deadly work over time. All that glitters is not gold. We elect our politicians trusting them to make informed decisions. Decisions that will impact vitally on the future well-being of ourselves and our children. Will we, for the sake of windfall profits for BHP Billiton and a handful of jobs, allow the federal and the South Australian state governments to approve the Olympic Dam expansion, and in so doing reap a spiral of cancer and birth defects, the like of which this nation has never known? The choice is ours.